As reactions continue to trail the increase in the pump price of fuel, the federal government has maintained its stand on the removal of fuel subsidy, saying it constitutes a drain on the country's resources.
Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said the nation's revenue and foreign exchange earnings have fallen by almost 60% due to the downturn in the fortunes of the oil sector. Going forward, the government says that the prices of petrol would be determined by market forces. While this decision doesn't sit well with many, others feel that the decision to allow market forces determine the price of petrol is healthy for the downstream sector.
Right, joining us now is Director General Bielsa Forward Movement, Alfred Kemer-Pado. Alfred, good morning. It's good to have you join us right now.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Great. We can hear you loud and clear. Now, the debate on the removal of subsidy...
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Great, we can hear you. We can hear you. The debate on the removal of subsidy has been on for so many years. To remove or not to remove, the implication, the consequences, and all of that. And now government is saying there is no turning back at this point. What do you make of this?
Yeah, this is the right step in the right direction. This is what government should have done before now. Yes, for political correctness and maybe for fiscal convenience. Some people can argue that the government is insensitive because Nigerians are going through trying times. But I can tell you, see, there's no wrong time to do the right thing. The government should have done this for you. I think you are all aware when OPEC made the prediction that the cost of importing petroleum products was almost equivalent or a little even higher than the cost of the amount we were earning from the sales of petroleum production. That was a no-no. So this is what government should have done since, because by we importing petroleum products, we are not only importing products, but we are exporting jobs and other related economic activities out of this country to the disadvantage of our people. So as difficult as it comes, Nigerians should understand that it's a step in the right direction. They should bear with it, and like they had analyzed in previous times, that just like the telecommunication sector that was liberalized and it became settled over time, that telecommunication is available for everybody. Even the petroleum sector, in this period that subsidy is removed, we're expecting government to further liberalize it in terms of its policies, in terms of its support for the industries and the refineries that are coming up here in the Niger Delta and other places, to see how they can produce optimally to service the Nigerian populace and even beyond Nigeria. So it's a right step in the right direction. But you see, another thing that the government must also admit, this government must also swallow the humble pie by first apologizing again to the Goodluck administration, because this has been predicted and proposed by the Goodluck administration. This government, while they were coming into power, at the time they were coming, campaigned against the removal of subsidy to come into power. So that clearly shows
all right,
that
Alfred, if I may just allow me jump in here.
They are beginning to understand. So all of those campaigns that they may have described as with words such as clueless and other things.
All right, Alfred, allow me jump in here, because this is a very contentious issue for a lot of people. I mean, like you rightly noted, it's been on for years. But one of the biggest arguments concerning this is that it has a detrimental impact on the poor and vulnerable. Help us speak to that. What is the implication of fuel subsidy removal on the poor and vulnerable? Now, what do you make of this argument that this is, it has a detrimental impact, which is fuel subsidy removal, has a detrimental impact on the poor and vulnerable?
It doesn't have any detrimental impact on the poor. As a matter of fact, it is a subsidizing of the fuel that has a detrimental impact on the poor and the vulnerable. I say this because, you see, between 2015 and 2019, if you check the statistics as released by OPEC, Nigeria has expended about 125 trillion Nigerian naira importing fuel products when it made just about 100 trillion naira exporting the same products. So that technically means that we had a loss of about over 25 trillion naira from Nigeria exporting jobs and other things out of this country. So you can begin to imagine if that 125 trillion naira and about its excess about 25 trillion naira is resident in the Nigerian economy and providing jobs for youths and unemployed people, nobody will be complaining. You see, this is where we say those who are political actors in this country, before they go on campaign and begin to interfere in policies, they should first research and come up with right solutions. Before now, the Goodluck administration had increased the fuel price to just about 97 naira, knowing that these catastrophic days will come. But people jumped on stages and campaigned against it without knowing these dire consequences that are before us today. So, like they say, there is no wrong time to do the right thing. This is the right step in the right direction. It will bring difficult times in the meantime for Nigerians, but it's going to bring succor in the future. This has been likened to what has happened even in the telecommunication sector. Today, before now, we buy SIM cards for about 11,000, 22,000 and whatnot, but today it's about 100 naira. That goes for even the call rate, it has reduced. So what the federal government needs to do in this petroleum sector is what they have also done in the telecommunication, further liberalize the sector. It is not just to remove the subsidy. The federal government needs to take a step further to see how she can strengthen the aspects of our economy, such as the emerging refineries and other policies and directives to ensure that these refineries take advantage of the crude products to begin to produce, to begin to create jobs that will tickle our economy. This doesn't just end only in the petroleum sector. This should be extended into the gas sector and even the power sector. Take example, a state like Bayelsa State, where I come from. Bayelsa State has gas as equivalent. The amount of gas in Bayelsa State is equivalent of the amount of gas in a country called Qatar. So you can discover that this state can make the whole income that she needs and tickle her economy just by firing cylinders that can provide power, not just for Bayelsa State, but for surrounding economics around the Gulf of Mexico.
Yes, Alfred,
it's a step in the right
let me
direction.
interrupt you a little bit, Alfred, because of time. Now, the government is saying that as subsidies is being removed, the market forces will determine the price of petrol, which means that the way it is sold in Lagos will not be the same way it is sold in Benue or in Benin or in Sokoto or in Kano, as the case may be. But the concern there is that middlemen and the transporters and marketers can take advantage to exploit Nigerians. What do you say to this?
No, there is no exploitation. After now, market forces will come around to regulate these products. Yes, I may not be a fan of this government, but this is a step in the right direction. Let me tell you something. The amount of money you pay in data, in telecommunication company A is different from that which you pay for telecommunication company B. But the overall question is that the prices are going to be favorable and it's going to be conducive and it's going to provide jobs. So these differentials in middlemen and prices in the future is going to be in difference of 1 kobo, 2 kobo, 10 kobo, 3 kobo. It's not in millions as suggested for the end user. So at the end of the day, what we're trying to say is liberalize it. You will discover that these petroleum products that is 151 is going to crash back to even about 97 naira or even less. Let me tell you an example. Let me give you an example. If what you're saying means that, okay, because of the cost of transportation from the place of production, it is being sold for 97 naira in Kano or Sokoto, and it is being sold for 96 or 95.5 naira in River State, where oil is. Is it not more beneficial to the man in Sokoto to buy the fuel for 96 naira in the future as against the 151.5 naira or so that is being sold now? So these are immaterial analysis by politics. Of course, you know, politicians will take advantage of this to say all that they need to say. But if you mean well for Nigeria, if you put on statesmanship, you will know that this is one thing the government is taking in the right direction. Though it is coming late, but it is timely. However, the government should also take the bold step to also apologize to our wrong criticisms of the Goodluck administration, but not dwell in it, but we should move forward in this right direction. It is right. It should not be criticized by anybody. Any person who means well for Nigeria and our future, any person who has fiscal economic knowledge of the happenings. You can't run a country exporting jobs. You can't run a country where you bring up petroleum products and you refine them in other countries, create jobs for other countries, and import unemployment to your country. You don't run a country like that.
Okay.
So this is a step in the right direction.
Okay. All right.
Director General, Bayelsa Forward Movement, Alfred Kimepado, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much for having me.